says, model the equation x minus 3 equal to -2 plus 7. So this is going to be the left side, and this is going to be the right side. So Grant, how do you think I'm going to put x minus 3 on my mat? What's that going to look like, thinking about what we've done the last year?
Yellow. X yellow.
X is the yellow one. Now, I don't have a yellow marker, so I have to use the orange for this one. So place an X, and that's positive, right? Okay, so everybody place a positive X on your left side. And then we have -3. Grant, how are we going to show that?
3 greens on the negative side.
Very good. And 3 greens in the negative section. And that equals, on the other side, Chandler, what do we have? 2 negatives and 7 positives. All right, go ahead and set up your map to show that. So we're just kind of practicing the setup. We're not solving anything quite yet. We're just showing what it would look like on the map. And this is all about balance. So Celine, can I just reach over and take off some of these greens? No, because what's going to happen to the balance of my scale? It'll go like this, right? Or like this, depending on which side I take them away from. Or which ones I take away, positives or negatives. So we're setting up that balance and remembering that has to keep the balance. Okay, jump down to question number 6. The equation reads x plus 4 equals -1. X plus 4 equals -1. Cassie, let's set up the left-hand side. What do we put on the left?
Yellow.
Okay. Is that X positive or negative?
Positive.
Good. And are those positives or negatives?
Positive.
Good. And what about the right-hand side then?
Negative.
Now, someone last hour said, oh, that can't be possible. How can I have all positives on one side and all negatives on the other? We're going to talk about the zero pairs in a little bit. So we have to remember that X is unknown. Our job is to figure out what value of X makes that true. And we're going to solve one like that in a minute, but it's kind of an interesting picture, isn't it? How is it possible I can have all positives on one side and a negative on the other and still have balance? What?
X equals 5.
Positive 5? You think? Alex?
Negative 5.
Oh, maybe X is a negative. We'll come back to that. One very similar to that in just a minute. Just keep that picture in mind. All right, let's jump down to question number 11. It says x minus 7 equals 1 minus 6. Set up the left-hand side. Brianna, what's going to go on the left-hand side?
X.
Positive X. And minus 7. Okay, and on the right-hand side? 1 and 6. All right. We feel okay about just setting those up?
Yes.
All right. Now we're going to move on to the solving. Turn to Lab 6-2. Turn to Lab 6-2. All right. Example reads y minus 2 equals -5. All right, let's set up our map and talk about what we're trying to do with that. We have y minus 2 on the left equals to -5 on the right. All right, at the top of the page, there's a very important statement. I want you to underline it. It begins by saying, your Algeblocks and the sentences map can help you solve equations. Here's the important statement. The goal is to get the block for the variable all by itself. I'm going to repeat it. The goal is to get the block for the variable all by itself. Because what I want to know is exactly how much is y worth. What does y by itself equal? That's what I want to know. So, at this, I see y minus 2. Now think of the idea of that present being wrapped up. Think of the idea of the opposite of subtracting. What's the opposite of subtracting? Adding. So I'm going to add 2 to my mat. Because the opposite of subtracting is addition. But wait a minute. I got a balance scale. If I add 2 on the left, what's going to happen? I'm going to have to add 2 on the right, or I'm going to lose the balance. Now, here's how we show that on paper. I write plus 2 right underneath the other numbers. And then when I look at my mat, I remember that the last couple days, we did a lot of work with 0 pairs. And what do you notice we have right here, Jessica?
0 pairs.
How many of them? 2. And look what happened. All I have left on the left-hand side of my mat is, isn't that my goal? I want to know what y is equal to. Do I have any 0 pairs over here?
Yes.
Cancel those out. And what is y balanced with?
3.
3.
Right.
3. Maybe. Oh, yes. Thank you, Rebecca. It's what? Why is it negative 3? In the negative section. Good.
Good job.
So, how can we check this one to see our work is correct? We are telling ourselves the solution is y equals negative 3. Well, a solution is what makes it true. So let's look and see. If I take negative 3 and I plop it in the place of y, substitute it in, does negative 3 minus 2 equal negative 5?
Yes.
Yes, it does. If we're at negative 3 and we take away 2 more, do I get negative 5? Am I 100% correct with that solution? Lexus, will you be able to check all of these on test day next week?
Yes.
That's going to be so you would not be returning your test until you knew you had 100%, because you're going to be able to check them before you turn them in.
Yeah.
Every single question. All right. Let's do another example. Clear your mat. We're going to do the example number 3, or problem number 3. It says y minus 3 equals 6. And I know you're all looking at this one and saying, I know how that answer before I even do anything. How many of you know the answer to y? Don't say it out loud, but you know it. How many of you know what number you take away 3 from to get 6? You all do. Why do we practice the simple ones with the algeblocks?
Get it down.
Exactly. It's the visual. But when the numbers get crazy, when the equations get long, you need a strategy. When you can't just look at it and know the answer, you need a strategy. That's what we're doing. We're building those strategies. All right, so let's build it on our mat. We have y minus 3 equal, this time it's equal to what? Positive 6. Last time it equaled a negative value. All right, my goal is always to do what?
Balance.
Balance it out and get y by itself. Y is kind of the lonely one. Everyone else moves away. All right. So I have y minus 3. What's the opposite of subtracting 3? Adding. So we're going to add 3 to both sides. Y to both sides, Levi?
You need it from both sides.
Keep the balance, right? Okay. Do I have any 0 pairs in this problem?
Yes.
Where are they at? There and there. I've added 3 to both sides. Notice that those negative 3s are now gone. All I have on the left-hand side is y, and all I have on the right-hand side is 9. Is that what you all knew? Y equaled anyway? You knew that. Let's check our work. Lexus, does 9 minus 3 equal 6?
Yes.
Yes, it does. If I take that y and plug it in, it better be true, and it is.